What is the sacred secretion, Kundalini, Kristos, Christ awakening, Christ consciousness, greater mitosis cycle of the body? My name is Coach Matt. I'm a spiritual life coach. I am certified. Go check out all of our information down in the link below if you would like to work with us, or if you'd like some free information, we have it on our website. So I just wanted to kind of make this video to detail what the sacred secretion process is for people who were new to it or people who were learning. The sacred secretion process is a healing process of the body. It is what I would call the lunar equivalent to the solar equivalent of the Kundalini awakening or the pineal gland activation. Now, both of these things work in tandem with each other. However, the sacred secretion specifically is a lunar-based cycle. It is a monthly cycle. Now, every day when we wake up, whether you're male or female, you have a daily hormonal cycle. For women, their hormonal cycle is more in line with their monthly cycle. For men, it is more in line with their daily cycle. However, women also have a daily hormonal cycle. Men also have a monthly hormonal cycle. For thousands of years, it was really difficult for men to understand and learn that they had a monthly cycle. And a lot of this has to deal with neurochemicals, biological chemicals in the body. Hormones specifically are very important to this process. Now, the first thing I will say is if you have already passed through menopause, or if you're really old and above the age of like 60, you still will be doing this process until the day you die. In fact, the way that you do often die of old age is when your body stops doing this process. So think about anybody that you may know who maybe passed away of old age in their sleep. Yeah, right around that time, their body was probably done with this process and couldn't do it any longer. And once that process couldn't be sustained, the body passes away. People who also don't play into their daily and monthly cycles also end up getting sick in different ways. Now, the two biggest killers in the world are heart disease and cancer. And this is cross-cultural, and this is around the world. There's also some contention around that as well, but if you ask some dietary nutritionists and doctors and specialists, they'll tell you, yeah, probably heart disease and cancer are the two biggest killers. The heart is ruled by the astrological sign of Leo, which rules the sun. The moon, which rules the immune system and also the sign of Cancer, as well as other parts of the body, rules the monthly or the monthly cycle. So when you don't live in accordance with your daily and monthly cycles, you will get sick, or you could get diseases, and you can pass away. Specifically in areas of the body where that energy was focalized that you weren't really paying enough attention to. And what I have found through people who have told me about other people in their families or people personally who have gotten sick, it comes from not living authentically. It comes from not living in accordance with your best self. Why? Because the scientific research study called the SPANE, Spain I guess is what it's called, they did a experiment where they hooked people up to energetic readers, and they found out that being authentic maximizes the energy in the body. Now, when you maximize the energy in the body, you're able to live your best self and your best life. It's not when you're acting happy or acting sad or acting angry. It's when you can live your best self and your best life. So the sacred secretion process is the maximization of this. What we do basically every single month, and this is both in men and women. Women know this a lot better because they have a physical response, whereas men are more of a metaphysical response, but they're both metaphysical. Women, however, do have the shedding of the serpent skin. This is why it's called Kundalini, and it's often shown as the snakes intertwining and going up the staff. We also have the caduceus, which is the medical symbol that they plaster all over hospitals. That is you. You have the wings at the top, which is the illumination of the mind, and you have the two interweaving serpents that go up the spinal column. Now, why serpents going up the spinal column? Because most of this has to deal with two major aspects of the body. One being the nervous system, which wraps all throughout the spinal column and interconnects into all of the organs via what is known as neuroimmunology. The second aspect of this is called the celiac ganglion. Celiac comes from the Greek Latinized word koilos, which means to coil. And so the celiac ganglion runs all throughout the spinal column, all the way from the base of the spine, connecting into the genitals, all the way up to the brain and through the heart as well. There's interconnecting parts, through the heart. Now, what the sacred secretion process is on a monthly cycle, depending on, most of the time it's astrological markers in the very beginning. This is actually what causes young teenagers to start puberty. But when they start puberty from about the age of 12 or 13, which is a very esoteric number, 12 and 13, both are very, very esoteric numbers, your body will start this process. So you live in a lower, not a lower state, but a non-conscious state of consciousness. As a child, you're very pure, you're very happy, and then once you grow, all that energy also drops down into the lower genital region, and that's when the genitals activate. And the genitals are what allow teenagers and adults to revitalize, grow, and create those hormones that they need in order to propagate their lives. Children are very pure, so they don't need that. They actually, most of their, I guess you could call it hormones, it's more like lymphocytes or lymphodes. They come from the thymus gland, which is about, on average, 5 times larger than in adults. So anyway, what the sacred secretion process truly is after a certain set of periods, every month or so, your body basically goes through a cleansing process. It goes through a cleaning process. You have activated signals that start up in the brain, and I'll kind of avoid all of the anatomical jargon because you can find a lot of this information either with working with us or in our books. But the signals will go and travel all throughout down the spine, multiple different chemicals all throughout the body. Red blood, white blood, plasma, semen, eggs, and neuromelanin will all start to congeal, and they will start to form. They'll start to formulate a process where basically your body will send all these different chemicals from all these different organs up into the center, and then that will eventually, it basically travels all throughout the body, and it cooks and ferments, so to speak, before raising back up into the brain. And the brain, essentially, through the activation of your brain, the illumination of your brain, the pineal gland specifically, this will ultimately kind of bake this substance in the inner thalamus, which pushes on the fulcrum of the mind, releasing cerebrospinal fluid, releasing the neurochemical inhibitors and different substances that will allow your brain to proliferate stem cells. And basically it allows you to not only connect better with your body and your spirit and your mind and all of the faculties of what it means to be human, but it heals you as well, and it prolongs your life. So I've been doing this for many years, and I'm 30 years old. A lot of people guess that I'm a lot younger. It doesn't necessarily, to say that it would reverse aging is technically faulty, but it definitely prolongs your ability to live. And this is something that almost every single major culture has talked about. So whether you are studying the Greco-Romans or the Vedic Indians, or even the Jewish people, Chinese Nadon, if you study the Nadon, they talk about this very extensively as well. There's a wide variety and a wide range of cultures that discuss in detail this process, and this is basically the epitome of the highest orders of secret societies as well. So if that interests you and you want to learn how to do this more appropriately and practically, you can go and check the links down below. You can come and work with us. Again, my name is Coach Matt. I am a certified spiritual life coach, and this is what I do for a living. I help people figure out this process for themselves so that they can live their best lives. Because when you live in accordance with this cycle, you will start to awaken what a lot of people are calling, a spiritual awakening or a Kundalini awakening or a Christ consciousness or anything like that. So there's a lot of different analogous terms. Not all of them are the same. A lot of these are being purported as the same thing. They're not. For example, a Kundalini awakening is actually separate from the sacred secretion cycle. It is good to activate those parts of the body and mind during this cycle, because it's basically like bringing the sun and the moon together in the sky, like an eclipse, or so to speak, and you're bringing those two elements together. But a Kundalini awakening can actually be done pretty much at any point in time of the month, and it is separate from the natural processive cycle that your body does. In fact, this is why monks go up into the mountains to learn how to do this, almost like a muscle memory reflex, where they can actually activate this sacred secretion cycle at pretty much not any given time, but they have more control over it. So this is why they go and they leave society, so that they can sync up with just themselves and the earth, and they can figure it out. So if you like this video, please drop a comment down below and leave a like. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the stuff that you guys do for us. go to our website. There's a lot of free resources. We actually have a free ebook called Master Your Cycles. You can go and check that out. We're also coming out with a new one that's going to be even more in depth about the practical ways to apply this to an even greater degree to maximize that potential. So lots of love to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.